No, love.
Come.
No sweat. Sweat. 30. I found a lot of Good. Slack, you bear with me 1 second. Mm. Shalom, Israel. We've been on these streets since 1969, trying to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their true culture and history. Okay? We've been on these streets trying to teach blacks and Hispanics, okay, who their enemy is. Okay? How do I say this? Our enemy, what's called, as blacks and Hispanics, is the oppressor on this earth. Okay? Why is that hard for our people to understand? Because, y'all give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. It's hard for our people to understand because we serve a very crafty and subtle oppressor. Okay? Let me know when you got it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7.
Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Keep going.
Surely oppression make a wise man mad.
Make a wise man mad, right?
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart. Surely oppression makes a wise man mad. Why is it saying that? What does that mean, Joel?
Meaning that in your spirit, you more. How can I say? In your spirit, you're more aggressive. You're more inferior.
Inferior? What do you mean?
It's like the word. You on top. Your spirit's more stronger than the other person.
Yes, that would be superior.
Superior, but you find yourself in a low state. You know what I'm saying? You're the greatest people on earth. You know what I'm saying? But why can't we get our foot in the door?
No, read that from the top. No. Give me again.
Oh God! Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Well, break that down. Come.
Meaning that when you come into I.S.U.P.K, you start to understand your history and what your people went through.
Right.
And that makes you become wise. Because these things that you haven't been taught in the school and the education system, that'll make you mad seeing your people in the condition that we're in right now.
Okay, I'll take it. Pressure makes a wise man mad. Meaning what? Only an idiot would be happy with our condition.
Correct.
Only someone who is foolish would be okay with Operation Wetback. Okay? Only a fool would be okay with the Windrush generation over in the United Kingdom. Only a fool would be okay with the Tuskegee experiments. Only a fool would be okay with what's an evil thing they did lied about to Judah? Integration. Only a fool would believe integration. Right? Khan.
Black Wall Street bombing.
Well, no, that wasn't necessarily. What do you mean?
So when we learn that history, that would make us.
Okay, yes, but I'm talking about necessarily situations where our people learned, where our people trusted our oppressor and it worked out bad for them. Why am I saying this? Read the next line.
Come on, card. And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift what?
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
A gift destroys the heart. Why?
For an example, they gave us Juneteenth. Now everybody forgets about the oppression that we went through, and
right.
Not necessarily forget, but you know, we tend to.
George Floyd. No, they forgot. They forgot. What's it called? If you sleep with a white woman, you forgot about all the evil that that woman did to us.
Right.
Okay? And if you sleep with a white man. And I'm talking to blacks and Hispanics. Mexican sisters, y'all need to understand you should not be with a white man.
Cool.
Okay? Get with a brother from La Raza. Right? That's what you do. Get with a brother from the barrio, from the ghettos, from the slums. Right? But a gift destroys the heart. What does that mean? That white man, what's called, like you got AOC. AOC is a goddamn congresswoman who thinks she's trying to help black people. She's not helping blacks and Hispanics. Okay? If AOC wanted to help blacks and Hispanics, she would rally to get therapy for all these for all the homosexual victims and child molestation victims inside of New York City. Instead, she rallies to help them. Right? AOC is not about the protection of black and Hispanics. Okay? AOC is about the protection of American interests, or what she perceives to be American interests. Right? Now, we're going to get into this. We're going to learn the history of everything that's going down. What's called? Everything that's going down. Do you know what recently happened, Shaul?
As far as with the Israelites?
Khan.
Lies,
Okay, no sweat. I'm going to give you 1 second. Okay, there's a new policy. Actually, we'll have Baba Kushah, turn the screen real quick.
Come on, concert.
We'll have the news basically explained it, and I'll break it down in layman's terms. Good?
To block the remain in Mexico. The U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday denied President Joe Biden's attempt to block the remain in Mexico policy set under his predecessor, Donald Trump. The immigration policy forces thousands of asylum seekers to stay in Mexico as they await U.S. hearings. The highest court rejected Biden's attempt to block a Texas federal court ruling requiring the government to revive Trump's policy, formerly known as the Migrant Protection Protocols Program. All 3 liberal justices dissented, while the remaining 6 blocked Biden's bid, saying the White House appeared to act arbitrarily in rescinding the program. The court cited its 2020 ruling that thwarted Trump's bid to end the Dreamers program, introduced by Democratic former President Barack Obama. That policy protected hundreds of thousands of immigrants who entered the U.S. illegally as children from deportation. Democrats and immigration advocates have criticized the Remain in Mexico program, saying it puts migrants, primarily from Central America, in dangerous conditions in Mexican border cities. Biden's administration has left in place a separate Trump-era order that gives U.S. border authorities the power, because of the global health crisis, to rapidly expel migrants caught at the border without giving them a chance to seek asylum in the U.S.
So, Babushah, you can tell it back to me, Babushah. What is that all talking about? Meaning what? Biden basically, okay, initially, what used to happen was you used to be able, Mexican or somebody who's coming in from the southern border was able to cross, gain temporary refugee status, and while they were working out whether you were allowed to stay in the country, you were allowed to stay in the country. They would put you in a small town in Texas, right? In these little makeshift areas, and you were allowed to hold out there, right? Donald Trump created a program basically called Remain in Mexico, which basically stopped this. You have to stay outside of Mexico whilst we decide if you can be here legally or not, right? So what does he do? Okay, so what happens? Donald Trump loses the election. Biden comes into power. Completely undoes this situation, right? He feels this is wrong. Now, mind you, Joe Biden is the man who built the cages for those little Mexican children. Right. Donald Trump was not lying about that. That is a Trump era. That is a Obama, and I will repeat, Obama era administration decision or call. Meaning Obama and Biden are the ones who put little Mexican children in cages. Obama and Biden built those cages with the intent of putting Mexicans in them. Trump just filled them. That's it. That is literally the end of it. Trump just filled the cages that Biden and Obama built. Okay? So now, what's happened now is that certain states, mainly southern states that are close to the border, have sued the Biden administration for ending this program. The United States Supreme Court just ruled in favor of the lower courts and said, no, you have to return this program to the initial, what's it called? Meaning what? You have to make these people go back to Mexico, and you have to do it in a week. Mind you, it's not something the United States can do. Like, you send me people and I'm letting them stay here while they work out their paperwork. I can't come and be like, yeah, I got to give these people back to you like as quickly as possible in like a week. I have to talk to and negotiate with you about it. Yeah, I don't care. Implement this now in a week. You were never supposed to shut it down. This is why we don't trust our enemies inside of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Our enemies do not have our best interests at heart. Joe Biden does not have the best interests of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians at heart. Joe Biden does not have the best. If Joe Biden cared so much about the Mexican people, he would have signed legislation to get all those babies out the goddamn cages, and then signed more legislation that ICE cannot rest or stop another immigrant until they find the hundreds of thousands of Mexican children that they freaking lost.
Right.
Instead, no, stop beating Asians. We get an Asian hate bill.
Right.
There's hundreds of thousands of Mexican children gone, vanished.
Gone.
But we need Asian hate bills. You understand the problem there? Read that from the top, Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
Come on, Khan, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
You are oppressed when you are asked to vote for your leader. So when I see you happy that about Joe Biden about to beat Donald Trump, and Joe Biden has beaten Donald Trump, it shows me you're a fool. It really shows me that's really what it shows me.
Right.
Okay, because at the end of the day, in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, if a brother came back and said, you know, Biden's about to come into office, do nothing for black people, but make a hate bill for Asians, yeah, nobody's shocked at that. At all. Okay? Keep going.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
But at least we got Juneteenth now. Like, that's literally all we've gotten from that man's presidency. More of us are getting put in cages. Like, you understand the reason these people, like, here's what's messed up. Do you know what the problem with Mexico is? The main problem with Mexico? There's two main problems with Mexico. No, no? God, I was asking. Okay. Is anyone online?
We have one brother.
Oh, okay, God. Okay. Mexico has a very big problem with that. Well, three problems I'll mention. They're extremely poor. Their government is corrupt. And it's ran by a violent militia groups, which you would refer to as gangs. Right? Now, What's the problem there? Where is this ringing a bell for anybody? Corrupt government. No, poor people. Corrupt government. Ruled by a gang. Or gangs plural. Right? That's why these people are running. I have no money. Right? And the only, my only source of survival is a gang that comes through with food every once in a while. And now they want to take my daughter for their brothel. And I would call my local officials, but they only come to town when it's time to either get reelected or bribe somebody. America's supposed to be different. I'll run there. Right? Like men with guns come in my town and beat up all the men, rape women, and kidnap them, and kidnap the little boys for their army. That is literally what I'm running from in Mexico. They kidnap little boys to work in coca fields and weed fields. Right? Know how horrible their conditions are? That's what they're running from. You know what they call that? A refugee. Matter of fact, Babu Sha'al, look up the word refugee.
Come on, call.
Okay? And while he looks that up, we're going to ask a very interesting question. Where did this start, Sha'al? Any guesses?
Where did refugee start?
Where did the Mexicans coming over this border really start? You got refugee.
Come on,
read refugee.
Refugee, a condition of being safe or sheltered from pursuit, danger.
The condition of being what? You got refuge or refugee? No, give me refuge. Give me what you got right here.
Refuge, a condition of being safe.
A condition of being safe, right?
Or sheltered from pursuit.
Or sheltered from what?
From pursuit.
Sheltered from pursuit. Keep going.
Danger or trouble.
Danger or trouble. Read that from the top again.
Refuge, a condition of being safe or sheltered from pursuit, danger, or trouble.
Now give me refugee, the definition.
Come on, Con.
Just put an E next to it.
Come on,
Con. Okay, so we know refuge is a condition of being safe from pursuit, danger, or trouble, right? What is a refugee?
Refugee, a person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster.
War, persecution, or natural disaster, right? Okay, everywhere. That's the Mexican people. But they have to remain in Mexico. Why is that important? Where are they running from? Mexicans fit refugee status completely. Okay? That land that they live on is their own backyard. Mexico is California. Never let anyone tell you different. Arizona and Nevada as well. Right? They deserve refugee status. Why am I bringing refugee status up, Charles? And it is important that our people, whether you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, remember this. Always remember this. Because we can all say this. Right? Why is it important that they can hold refugee status? Are they getting refugee status?
No.
Who is?
Other nations like the Asians, Eastern.
Give me the name I want.
Afghanistan?
Yes. Now, what are they going through? They're poor. from what a cat was telling me, you know how bad their government is? An anti-Taliban, and I will repeat, I was watching this on the news, completely anti-Taliban, I hate the Taliban, had to go to the Taliban to get his inheritance disputed. Because had he went to the actual Afghan court system, they would have overcharged him and bribed him. So they're poor people with the corrupt government. And guess what else they have, Sean? What would you call the Taliban? A group of drug dealers that, basically group of drug dealers with guns that control the towns or areas. What would you call that?
Gang.
A gang, right? And gangs, plural, is the perfect word. Because everyone will tell you the Taliban's not united. They're all under one banner, we're Taliban. But that'd be like, not us, but all the other fake Israelite groups. You're the Israelites. Y'all not all connected with each other. Somebody gonna call somebody a mentor at the big meeting, and y'all gonna all be fighting.
Right.
That's the Taliban, right? They deal with the same goddamn things the Mexicans do. But Baba Kushag and he's up in ayah 2 and 1.
Come on, Carl.
The Afghanistanis deal with the same problem that the Mexicans do, right? Here's the problem. The Afghanistanis are not the children of God.
Right.
You want to know another reason? Well, another reason. So, you want to guess another reason?
Sloppy, repeat the question.
Do you want to guess another reason they care about the Afghanis and they'll give them refugee status? Or cared about them enough to fight that 20-year war? There's a few reasons, but come.
To make up for all the damage that the troops did in there?
No. I mean, what's it called? Why did they go over there and do all that and they built that government? They literally were some sand people living in sand until the United States came over there and said, "Nah, y'all need an actual functioning government because this can't work out." Y'all literally had terrorists so equipped and so well organized, they were able to freaking do a major terrorist attack on the other side of the world. And it came from here in this backwater place with no law enforcement. Now we're building you a government. Y'all spent 20 years and I think it was $3 trillion or whatever number I said last time, or $2 trillion. Yeah, just for the Taliban to steal all your weapons and your bases. Now how stupid you look. All of that money could have went to helping the Mexican people. All of that money could have went to helping out the Haitian people. All of that money could have went to helping out our nation, the nation you destroyed,
right,
in building yourself up. Give me what you got, but here's why. Keep going.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
O nation what?
Not desired.
Why?
Because we're the Lord's chosen people.
Wait, why? But why are we not desired? Well, yes, we're the Lord's chosen, but why are we not desired? What do we have to offer? Afghanistanis, they got all this oil, they're wise people, right? We're nothing. But yeah, mainly because we're God's people. Right? Brazilians, I believe, or Colombia has oil. They don't give a damn about them. Right? We're the Lord's people, so they care about us. So that nobody cares about us. Okay? We're just the people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We're just the people everybody else uses. Right? And walks all over. The stranger comes up high above us, while we just come down lower. Now look at this. They're doing all this about refugees. Like, have you seen the pictures of these people crap like sardines and what's it called, trying to get out of here? Right? Why? What's it called? But you got to stay in Mexico. They're rapidly doing COVID tests just to make sure, right? But yeah, you got to stay here in Mexico. I understand there's gangs that are really want to hurt you. You're being chased. You're being pursued. You're in danger. You're in trouble, right? Those are the conditions that denote refuge or the needing of refuge, right? Yet and still, you're a filthy Mexican. All you are good for is what I tell you to be, right? And we're about to show you where this started. It started in about the 19. Well, we'll get it, Salakia. We're going to read about two things. Operation Wetback, and we're going to read about Salakia. What is the exact name of this? U.S. and Mexico Farm Labor Agreement. We'll start with the Farm Labor Agreement because technically it takes place first in 1942. August 1942, the United States and Mexico signed the Mexican Farm Labor Agreement, creating what is known as the Bracero Program. The program, which lasted until 1964, was the largest guest worker program in U.S. history. Throughout its existence, the Bracero Program benefited both farmers and laborers. The program now, we're going to explain a bit of how the program works, but now what I want you to understand is the purpose and necessity of the program and why our oppressor needed this program. The program was born from necessity as the federal government worried that American entry into World War II would sap the Southwest of much of its farm labor. Meaning what? What were they saying? You need me to read it again, or?
Are they worrying about the because of the war? They worrying about the food that was supposed to be coming in.
What about it? The federal government worried that American entry into World War II would sap the Southwest of much of its farm labor. Give you one more chance. What's going on in the world right now in 1942?
The whole thing with Hitler and
Right. And so now the United States has decided we're going to. Now they're saying we're going to have a problem with farm labor. What's the problem?
You need people to work the farms.
What happened to the regular people that live in the area? I'm asking.
Well, they probably was put to work.
Right. They had a member. What's it called? The draft is still implemented. So, and it's World War II. World War II was a draft. So it's not like, wait, you pick tomatoes. No. We need you to stay here to pick tomatoes. Don't go to war. Nah, you actually do got to go to war. I'm gonna just have to make my own salad, right? And then they realize, wait, we might have a labor problem here, right? So this is what they thought of. Manual laborers from Mexico became braceros. You can also look at this as the braceros, B-R-A-C-E-R-O-S. Again, that is B-R-A-C-E-R-O-S. From Mexico became an important part of the region's economy, and the program outlasted the war. The program guaranteed workers a number of basic protections, including a minimum wage, insurance, and safe, free housing. However, farm owners frequently failed to live up to these requirements. Housing and food routinely proved to be well below standards, and wages were not only low, but also frequently paid late or not at all. Yeah. Years after the program ended, And it's only, now mind you, those are legals. These are people who legally came here to work for nothing, to work for pennies. Can you imagine what the illegals go through? And I'm just talking about the pay. What are you going to do when I don't pay you? Call the police. That's not even in your mind.
Right.
I know. Call all your illegal friends. Not gonna, yeah. And that's the problem. We need to destroy the hatred between blacks and Hispanics.
That's right.
Million niggas in front of some white man's plantation. Yeah, he'll either be like, yo, this is the greatest, it's like, what's called, I've been in a time machine, or this is the last day on the planet. Can't do too much to me. Yeah, I might go to jail for burning your shit down, but you just go to jail all day. I bet you'll know one thing. Don't mess with them illegals no more.
Right.
There'll be a million niggas on your, million illegal niggas on your doorstep. I advocate, the UPK does not advocate no violence toward anyone. Do not burn any white man's plantation down if you find out he's illegally, he's using the work of illegal immigrants. Report him to the proper authorities. That is the official stance of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. As for the brothers and sisters that are illegally in this country, come inside the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We've dealt with this problem before. This institution has been around since 1969. Okay? You will not, when you walk through these doors, just understand, you'll not be the first nor the last illegal to come in these doors, stay in, and become a citizen.
Right.
We deal with this. We come down with you. We get your paperwork dealt with. We do this. Shoot. And brothers and sisters, if you're a citizen already, and you single and all that, go down to that border, find you someone from one of them tribes, get you a spouse. Like it's correct. It's a correct woman, brother. I'll see you in 10 weeks, 6 months, whatever. I only need like about 5 weeks. I just need to know, like, yeah, how to say a few things in Spanish, and we good. Yeah. But yeah, okay, this was all done with the purpose of helping your stinking country.
Right.
Mind you, you stole half your country from me.
Right.
Years after the program ended, many braceros were still fighting to receive the money that had been deducted from their salaries and allegedly put into savings accounts. We're saving the money for you. Okay, where is it now? Yeah. Due to these broken promises, strikes were a common occurrence throughout this period. Okay. Over 4.6 million contracts were issued over the 22 years of the Bracero program. Though Congress let the program expire in '64, it set the stage for decades of labor disputes and a dynamic of migrant labor that still exists today. Okay? Now, that's where this program comes from, right? Now we'll talk about Operation Wetback. Matter of fact, give me that. What is that? Ecclesiastes 3:28? Give me that now. When I say it's 3:28. Hold up.
So like you say Ecclesiastes or Ecclesiastes?
No, it's Proverbs 3:28, I think it is. Salakia. Oh, shucks.
Sounds like it's right, sir.
Oh no, I was saying the wrong one. Hold up. Salaki, bear with me 1 sec. Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, Salaki.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 10?
Yeah, give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. While you're looking for that real quick, I'll start this. Largest mass, okay. This is history.com, historychannel.com, largest mass deportation in American history, right? In 1955, thousands of disoriented people roamed the city streets as the sun bore down on them. They had just been dumped there by American immigration officials, snapped from their lives and jobs in the United States, and thrown into a city where they didn't know anyone. These Mexican immigrants had been caught in the snare of Operation Wetback, the biggest mass deportation of undocumented workers in United States history. These are the same people. These are Braceros. You got it?
Go on, God.
Read it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Break that down.
Come on, God. Basically, scripture is telling you not to trust your enemy, which is the oppressor, and like how iron rusteth, iron can't go away. Rust can't go away on iron. It's just like how the white man can never be a righteous. He's always going to be the wicked. Never to trust him.
Read verse 11.
Come on, verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and be aware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst white.
Though he humble himself. How did the conquistadors initially come into this land? Humbled. Please, we need food and water. Right? That's what they did to the Mexicans. That's what they did to the North American Indians. That's what they did to the Dominicans. They played it off like they were just these peaceable people who needed help. Right? Keep going.
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst white a looking glass.
Meaning, what's it called? Oh, it's another thing. Like then, we need help because everybody's off. We're fighting Hitler, because nobody unless you blonde hair with blue eyes, right? So you should help us help us with our farmland so we can fight Hitler for you, right? Keep going.
And thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
Meaning what?
Your whole village is still your land.
Right, you'll know. Yeah, right. Keep going.
Verse 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
What's thy place? Come.
Place is your land. Your land.
What's your land? Like in context of what we're talking about.
Like Los Angeles, Nevada, and Arizona.
Right.
Come.
He stands in your place.
Salakia. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat.
And that's exactly what he did. He saw them. He saw what's called the Mexican people, the Aztecs, and saw these people have great land, right? It is very prosperous. I'm going to take it from them. I want his seat. Keep going.
And thou at the last remember my words.
And thou at the last remember my words. What does that mean?
This means that basically this is telling you, giving you instruction not to
No, when he says, and thou at the last remember my words. Come.
Is this talking about the false promise that he gave us?
No.
So like when they say my words, is this talking about the Most High's words or the oppressor's words?
Yeah, the Most High.
Oh, Salakia.
Khan.
Like God says in Zephaniah, gather yourselves together, you gather yourselves together, nation. We shouldn't even be going through this because the Most High wants us to stick together as a nation, as a people, while we let any strangers in.
How do I say this? You can say, if you want to call that man my spiritual father, you can call him my spiritual father. However, your spiritual father is a child molester.
I don't understand Salakia.
You heard what I said? You know what I'm talking about, referencing, right? Well, and that thou at the last remember my words. You understand?
Not really. So I know what
Your spiritual father is a child molester. And now everybody knows at the last, or in the end, yeah, we were right. At the last, you'll remember my words. When it's all said and done, and you're sitting in freaking Mexico, looking at them live lovely in California, you'll remember God told me this was going to happen. And thou at the last will remember my words. You won't remember this until it's all too late. We've been telling black people since 1969, blacks and Hispanics, that integration will not work for us. Our people will be back in the streets rioting. And thou at the last remember my words. God. Now you can drop that. Let me get back into this. As many as 1.3 million people may have been swept up in the Eisenhower era campaign with a racist aim, which was designed to root out undocumented Mexicans from American soil. Society, Salakia. The short-lived operation used military-style tactics to remove Mexican immigrants, some of them American citizens, from the United States, though millions of Mexicans had legally entered the country through joint immigration programs in the first half of the 20th century. Operation Wetback was designed to send them back to Mexico. What does that mean? We're done. 55. Do you know what 55 is? 10 years after the end of World War II. Surprised they lasted that long. Right? That's what this is all. The war's over. We don't need you anymore. Right? Short-lived operation used military slogan. With the help of the Mexican government, which sought the return of Mexican nationals to alleviate a labor shortage, which shows you why our oppressor is so evil. Because you think they didn't realize you might have a labor shortage if you send us all these people? They did. Right? Border Patrol agents and local officials used military techniques and engaged in a coordinated, tactical operation to remove the immigrants. Along the way, they used widespread racial stereotypes to justify their sometimes brutal treatment of immigrants. Inside the United States, anti-Mexican sentiment was pervasive, and harsh portrayals of Mexican immigrants as dirty, disease-bearing, and irresponsible were the norm. During Operation Wetback, tens of thousands of immigrants were shoved into buses, boats, and planes, and sent to often unfamiliar parts of Mexico. Get on this plane and take off. I don't know where you're headed. I don't need to know where you're headed, where you're from, or anything. Get on the plane, take off. That's it. You are no longer allowed here. You are not welcome here. Right? That's what they're telling our children today. That's what they're telling these people today, and with remain in Mexico. Okay? They did the same thing with Operation Wetback. Has America apologized for Operation Wetback? No. This is the greatest deportation in American history. Some of them were U.S. citizens. People that this country invited in. You have to understand something. why do we speak the way that we do, and why do we have the solution that we do, as far as our oppressor needs to be in chains, our oppressor needs to be enslaved, his entire race needs to be walked on leashes. Why would we say such harsh things? There's no other payment for this.
Right.
The only way you could pay me back is if me and a Mexican get to decide where your entire race goes. If me and a Mexican get to sit in a room all day and we get to decide, no, we're going to move the Germans here. We're going to move the Italians here. But I need the Italians over here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put them here for 20 years. Then we're going to say we don't need them anymore. Then we're going to create legislation so we move them over here. Then you can have them for like 30 years. Then after that, you got to bring them over here. And that's how we're going to do your race. Otherwise, you know what you could do? You could pay all those people back. You could, give back that land to the people it belongs to. But I don't know what would become of California or Nevada. Hell, you wouldn't be able to make any more money off Las Vegas. Let's see how much tax revenue the United States as federally brings in without Las Vegas. If you return that to the Mexicans. Now, let's talk about your BS problems, and let's talk about the fact that all that money in Nevada, in Las Vegas, belongs to the Mexicans. Speaking of which, for those who don't know, if you want to actually help the Mexican people, we are having a barbecue to support the men in Vegas, right, that do the work to try to help and teach and educate and better the lives of Hispanics and Blacks and Native Indians all across the earth. But mainly, we'll be having a barbecue, okay, to celebrate those men and just to celebrate a love for our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. If you fit that mold, you can come to the barbecue in Las Vegas. We'll have more info as time goes on. In Texas, 25% of all the immigrants deported were crammed on the boats, later compared to slave ships. Well, what do you know? Slaki, you done with Ecclesiasticus? Or?
Come on, sir.
That's to never trust your enemy, right?
Come on,
give me Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Come on. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
In Texas, 25% of the immigrants deported were crammed on the boats, later compared to slave ships, while others died of sunstroke, disease, and other causes while in custody. What the hell does that sound like to you, Shaw? As a Judite, what does that sound like?
Sounds like our brothers and sisters are going into slavery.
Yeah, that sounds like the Southern Kingdom during slavery.
Right.
The Mexicans are Israelites.
Right.
Okay, keep going.
Come on, by the way, wherever I spake unto thee.
We were brought into Egypt, which is what? Slavery, bondage. We're bound here in Mexico. You have nothing. Right? Your only hope in life is to be mistreated and cheated out your money.
Right.
Like, Slavi, sometimes it really hits me like being up here, like teaching this, but really comprehend the destitution. I could work a whole 10, 12 hours and get nothing.
Right.
And be forced to return to the same job. And that's better than where I come from.
Right.
At least I'm not starving and running from gangs. At least I'm not starving and being hassled by the police. At least I'm not starving and trying to keep my sister from being raped. Right? And on that last one, what are you going to do? You're illegal. Right. Your sister gets raped over here. What are you doing? Technically, because Esau has half a brain and doesn't want a completely lawless society because he knows and understands our laws and knows that's a problem, he does allow them to no questions asked on cases like that. But yeah, Esau will find a loophole to after they find the cat, who they're hoping is just another illegal. Right? After they find that, they're just going to throw y'all both out the country. Or maybe they'll be nice and let her stay. Right? But that's the conditions our people are in. Right? That's the bondage, the Egypt, the evil that our people are in.
Right.
It's not clear how many American citizens were swept up in Operation Wetback, but the United States later claimed that 1.3 million people total were deported. However, some historians dispute that claim. Though hundreds of thousands of people were ensnared, says historian Kelly Lytle Hernandez, the number of deportees was drastically lower than the United States reported, likely closer to 300,000. Due to immigrants who were caught, deported, and captured again after re-immigrating, it's impossible to estimate the total number of people deported under the program. Oh, I see what happened. You understand, Shaul?
No.
It's Jay. You're going to kick me over a fence. How did I get here the first time? Sure, how?
We got here the first time by you leading us to
What's another? Okay, yes, those are some of them, right? But the actual illegals, how did the actual illegals get over here the first time? Like, they're getting kicked over a fence, right? How did I get over here the first time? If y'all got that fence,
they just
God, very simple.
walked over.
No, you can't. You're illegal. How'd they? Yeah, y'all got this fence. Y'all just kicked me out. But how did I get here in the first place? I got this fence. I got this wall. Very simple.
You kidnapped me.
No, I did it. You kicked me out, right? Y'all had the fence, right? Y'all kicked me over the fence. How did I get on the other side of the fence the last time to begin with?
I'm an opener.
Exactly. So, what do you think the genius solution when you kick me over the fence is? Climb again. We captured 1.3 million illegals. No, you captured 300,000 illegals like 3 times. That's what happened. I caught a cat. I caught 10 people. No, you caught the same cat 10 times. See the problem? Okay. Mass deportation of Mexican immigrants from the U.S. date to the Great Depression. So this goes back further than World War II. This is 20 years before World War II. The Great Depression started about 1919, right? When the federal government began a wave of deportations rather than include Mexican-born workers in New Deal welfare programs. Meaning what? They were not allowed to have welfare. Which, if I'm not mistaken, is true today. Well, no. They can get, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure, and it might work in different states, but some states, especially a blue state, will allow their illegals to get some welfare. But initially, welfare was not for illegals. You had to actually be a citizen. According to historian Francisco Balderrama, the U.S. deported over 1 million Mexican nationals, 60% of whom were U.S. citizens of Mexican descent. We're Mexicans, we're citizens, we're just actually Mexicans, right? Salakia. Despite a widespread belief among native-born Americans that Mexicans came to the United States to steal jobs, and I just want to iterate this because I saw a lot of stupid people during Trump toting that same goddamn rumor. What's the problem with stealing a job, Shaw?
Problem was standing with a job is I mean, the pay.
No. Is that possible? Here's what I mean. I go down, I take your uniform, take one of your little what's it called, show up at your job during your shift, and somehow magically this is my shift now. I took your job. Is that possible?
Gotcha.
That's possible?
No, it's not. It's not so.
Why? No, because you were going to say yes. Stay with what you're going to say.
No.
Okay, why is it impossible? Why is it possible for me to just out of the blue walk into your job dressed like you, not even dressed like you, dressed in the appropriate uniform, right, with a name tag, ready to work? One big problem with that, and it starts with a B. Did your boss hire me? Remember, I said I came to your job dressed like you out of the blue. Did your boss hire me? No, right? So will I get a paycheck? No, right? I won't automatically get your paycheck, right?
No.
When you show up to work, well, technically you're in security. You can have me removed from the building, right?
No.
Or on any job. Yeah, I don't know this person. He's acting like he work here, but he don't.
No.
So can I steal your job?
Nah.
No. You know what I can do?
But Salak said,
Can.
this has to do with pay, because my first answer was, I said was pay.
What do you mean?
If you steal my job, how are you gonna get paid if like
No. Meaning like steal the job as in stealing a job is I'm forcibly taking your job. Here's what's really happening. I'm poor and destitute. You work for whatever, right? You work 20. I'll do it for 12. Your boss is an a-hole and uses my destitution to say screw you and technically screw me too, right? And hire him or hire me for less. I'm not stealing anything from you. Your boss is the person you should be mad at. That's what a logical person does. But you know, the majority of Trump supporters and the people who have a problem with this are hillbilly rednecks. They don't have education. And another thing you have to understand is people like Donald Trump, and Jeremiah Hyman brought this up. People like Donald Trump use Mexicans so white people don't kill them. That's not a joke. Second-class citizens or a second-class race exists so the dominant race doesn't kill its own dominant 1%. Meaning what? You know why Jim Crow laws existed? Do you know why during slavery we had to bow our heads down to any white man, even their children? You know what? Their self-esteem. Their miserable, horrible, destroy lives, right? They're white and they're poor. Like us, it's like, you don't think white people see how great this land is for white people? And you're poor in it. You're poor in it. Not only that, the senator's an ass, right? The judges are all corrupt. The businessmen rob people and cheat people, right? Everybody knows this, right? I'm going to go and shoot some. The minute I go crazy, I'm going to go shoot people, right? This is not a joke. This is not a stereotype. This is historical events. These are events that happen. White people's mental state is very integral to the survival of this country. White people lost a game of pick the leader and cause a historic event in less than 5 hours. They threatened to kill the cat they put in power last time. Like, understand, that the Republicans threatened to kill the Republican vice president. Why? Because they found out he was a traitor to America? Sort of. Because they found out he was a traitor to, what's it called? I don't know what they mean by a traitor to America. He was a traitor to democracy. I mean, it is what it is. But this is what you're dealing with. So, and because of that, I have to bow my head down, or else they'll burn down the plantation. Because you know why? I need to feel, a white man needs to feel good about himself. So I'm going to, what's it called? Create laws that say black people aren't allowed to laugh in public. You have to laugh inside a barrel. And that's where you get a barrel to laugh from. Okay? That's why you have signs that say, I'm special. Even though this is a rinky-dink, horrible, fly-ridden, fly-infested restaurant, this restaurant is special and upper class. You know why? No niggers or spics are allowed in. So it's upper echelon, because I'm not allowed in it somehow. Now, mind you, Martin Luther King and Ricky Ricardo could have lunch in that restaurant every day, because they make that type of money. But it's upper echelon. You don't belong here. My nigga, all you can afford is a sandwich. A sandwich and a water. This is what our people have to deal with. Okay? However, not all employers wanted to follow the guidelines or pay the 30-cent an hour guaranteed wage. That's $4.51 in modern dollars. Meaning what? They weren't even paying them minimum wage or a decent livable wage in 1940. Oh, hell no. You can make about a quarter of that. An hour? What's 5 times 8 again? Huh?
About a quarter. Well, an hour, you said so.
$4 an hour. Yeah, that's $25 an hour, basically. No, more than that. I'm bugging the fuck out. 32, goddamn. $32 a day. It's not much. Right? Nor did the Mexican government want Mexicans to work in Texas, which continued its discrimination against Mexican people. Right? And the state was excluded from the program between 1942 and 1947. That's where wetbacks came in. The racial epithet was used to describe Mexicans who illegally entered Texas by crossing the Rio Grande River. The government turned a blind eye to Texas's employment of these undocumented immigrants, even after hiring undocumented workers was declared illegal. They knew what they were doing, but we need the money. So we'll continue to commit this human rights violation on domestic soil. Like, and this is what I'm talking about. There is no dollar amount you can give me. Like, there is no organization that cares. Organizations will hold hearings. Organizations will hold meetings. No one will really sit there and say, nah, y'all really have to sit down, shut up, and pay these people back. The UN is not right now saying we need to have a thorough investigation into the United States involvement in a possible human rights violation known as Operation Wetback. And the United States will not be allowed to participate in any NATO events until this is dealt with. Nobody's doing this. You know why? Because nobody cares about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, except give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Oh, God. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power.
You are the holy people, meaning what? Mexicans are separated from everybody else. That's why you're not getting the red carpet rolled out for you like the Afghanistanis. The Afghanistanis are about to get the carpet rolled out for them so they can come into a land full of plague and pestilence and famine. Because COVID is not over. And there will be more plagues. There will be more destruction coming to this planet. Keep going.
The Most High thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
It is okay that the United States chooses heathens. It's okay. I don't care. Right? At the end of the day, God chose me, though. God chose the Mexican people. He chose mariachi music. Not whatever them goddamn Afghanistanis play. Right? Matter of fact, the only video of Afghanistani dancing I've seen is them dancing to Drake. Right? God chose us to be a special people. Right? The Mexican, what's called? You think them Afghanistanis never heard of Mexican food? I've never heard of Afghanistani food.
Right.
Especially if y'all got United States soldiers over there. You've seen a taco. Never seen your food before. Right? Keep going.
Above all people.
Above what?
All people.
Above all people, right? Keep going.
That are upon the face of the earth.
That are upon the face of the earth. Right? And that's what God has in store for the Mexican people. Okay? God has in store for you is to not trust your oppressor. Never trust your enemies. Because in the past, just like today, it doesn't work out.
Right.
And like I said, this is not just Mexicans. Okay? What's it called? You got all of our people. You got the Windrush generation over in the UK. Okay? You have the tribe of Judah, who's always being lied to by this oppressor. Yeah, every 4 years, basically. Right? We go in, we help get some cat elected with our numbers, and then what? We get nothing out of it. Some of these men end up being the evilest men to us. Bill Clinton has the highest incarceration rate of any president. Blacks and Hispanics put Bill Clinton in office.
Right.
All right? If you have people locked up for the rest of their life from the 90s to the 2000s, and they're on that crime bill, 3 strikes, blame Bill Clinton and Joe Biden. Joe Biden wrote the bill. Bill Clinton signed it. Ain't that something? Yeah. Joe Biden wrote 3 strikes law. And Bill Clinton signed 3 strikes law into effect, while it's calling our children super predators. This is why you never trust your enemy. And with that, I pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shaw.
Clap it up for class.
You can just cut the class. For those who don't know, next week there will be a service, memorial blowing the trumpets. It will be here in headquarters, 2279 3rd Avenue. All right, Shalom, Israel.